No, this is all for other people. I've had my
So I need to speak loud?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay.
You want to lead?
Okay, sure, I'll lead. So lunch isn't here yet. So why don't we start? I'm Michelle Ziegmann, by the way, from Educational Technology Services here at UC Berkeley. And welcome, come on in, everyone. Should we, you haven't been to the last couple, are you still in check-ins?
Yeah, let's just introductions, yeah.
So why don't we just go around the room and just say who you are, where you're from, and what your interest in Google is. Why don't you go ahead, Bruce?
I'm Luke McCormick. I haven't been here for a while. I've been managing websites down at Stanford University, for the last year.
Redemption is possible.
Not worrying. And I'm actually back looking for more Drupal work because my contract at Stanford is over. That's all.
My name is Devin Jones. I work for the law school. We are considering moving our CMS to Drupal, but we're not sold on it yet. I'm mainly coming to this meeting because I was attracted by the topic of course websites and for online education. We have a big online education initiative at the law school, and also gamification. That sounded interesting. I wanted to see how you guys did.
I'm Mickey Mooney. I'm a systems analyst at the School of Public Health. And I've been here for about 9 years, and I've just finished putting in a new system to replace some legacy systems that they've been working with for 15 years, and all the data migration cleanup. And that's Ruby on Rails.
My name is Andy Low. I'm application programmer at law school. It's my first time to come here. I'm trying to learn more about Drupal.
I'm Gerard Lasso. I work with the USDA here in Albany, and I work with a database that handles a lot of agricultural research data, and we're trying to use, most of it's handled by PHP, and I'm trying to migrate it over to a Drupal environment because we spend so much time figuring out how to code. Everything's done pretty much in the Drupal environment, so I'm trying to learn a little bit more about it.
My name is Noah Beal. I'm an IT manager at the College of Engineering on campus.
My name is Kim Carl, and I'm part of the web team for the Vice Chancellor for Research, and we build and post and maintain a number of Drupal sites.
I'm JD Leonard. I'm a freelance Drupal developer. I focus on more complex websites.
I'm Shirazi. I work for law school. I've done some Drupal before, but the more you have done it, the more you actually want to know more about how to do it.
Al Tabor, I'm building a couple projects in Drupal.
I'm Kevin Costa. I'm with the Synthetic Biology Engineering Research Center. I brought pizza. Sorry. But there's some pizza, enough for all of us, I think. I benefit from this group a lot. We have a Drupal website that we actually rolled out to make available to other centers like ours. And so it's actually proven a huge boon to the research center community that I'm in because we all have the same reporting requirements and we just built one system and people can easily modify it. So it's been a really perfect solution for what our community of researchers at a bunch of different universities have been trying to do. So thanks for all of your guys' ideas for these meetings.
Thank you for the pizza.
Yeah.
And then I'm Yutin Ko. I work in the central IT group here, and I do some of the work with the Drupal team here on Berkeley.
Hi, I'm Laura. I work in the international office here on campus, and we have a Drupal site which Kim supports, and I'm mostly a user web content manager, so just want to learn more.
My name is Stephen Williams. I'm with the California Social Work Education Center based at UC Berkeley. Our site just launched in Drupal in June, and I do some of the back-end administration for that. Previously, I administered Moodle, the learning management system at UCSF, and so I'm interested in this workshop especially to see, I'm used to there being a real separation between Drupal and the LMS, and so seeing them merge together.
I'm Caroline Boyden. I work for IST and the College of Letters and Science. I build and develop and support Drupal sites.
Louis Venanus. I'm involved with several Drupal projects off campus, and it's great that you opened this up to off campus. Thank you.
I'm Susan Calico. I would like to come back to UC. I've worked here for a number of years, and I have been, I've done a lot of HTML sites and really saw Drupal as being, you know, a very good way to work in this low resource environment.
So people came in after we started. Can you introduce yourselves?
I'm Bob Page. I've been working with Drupal probably since the beginning. Currently I'm down at NASA doing some Drupal project management sites.
I'm Tim Dennis, and I work in the library data lab, and we have a number of Drupal sites.
Yeah, I'm Harrison Becker. I also work in the library. I'm a librarian and programmer, and I've been working with Drupal since version 4, and I develop and maintain sites.
Cody Hennessy, another librarian, e-learning librarian, so I've worked on some Drupal sites and also focused on core sites and e-reserves.
Anyone else? So you guys go ahead, get your pizza.
Yeah, do you want to take 5 minutes out to take
Yeah,
real quick?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll stop.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start, and thank you all for coming. I didn't know there was so much interest in the e-learning side of it, which is great. I want to share a little bit because it was an interesting decision we had to make. This is a course that was built for UC Online, which is a new initiative. It's managed at the UCOP. And the idea is there's funding to build and deliver courses from all of the UC campuses on one common learning management system. And so that's really just getting started now. Students from other campuses can take courses that would generate a different campus than the one they're registered at, which currently is not possible. You know, there's lots of integration issues with authentication and across campuses and all that stuff. And then also these would eventually be public courses, so the public could register, pay to take this course and actually get UC credit for it. So that's the end goal, and this course was built in that context. There was a big decision point when this course came to me. I'm an instructional designer, this is my role on this, and project manager. So the instructor had this vision for this course and kind of listed how he wanted this course to work. And the features he wanted was not even, we couldn't even get even close to that in the LMS that we were using. I don't think in any LMS really that I'm familiar with. We're using Sakai OAE right now, I don't know if you're familiar with that. Anyone on campus who had anything to do with Cal Central, it's that same platform. So we had to decide what we were going to do about this course. So we made the decision, so I could really build all the features that you need. We thought about more of a kind of a mock-up, like where they can kind of walk through what might happen if they were in a real course with all these features. It just wasn't even close enough. So when we listed all the requirements, I said I could build this all in Drupal, but it would have to be a standalone website. So that's what we did. So this is a course, this site is just for this course. And what happens is people go to the LMS, and eventually they will see all these pages within the LMS. So they'll be linked in there as remote content in a way. It was very complicated how we're integrating this with the LMS. But for the purposes of the summer course that ran this summer, it was completely delivered outside of the LMS. And students were only calendar authenticated, which instead of being provisioned to the course, like from the registrar data, it was kind of manually course students were added to the course. So that's the context of where we are here. The other idea is that, so they can go the other way. The other idea is, we consider it kind of a prototype for features that we think other instructors would like to have in an LMS to be able to replicate some of this kind of functionality. So we considered a little bit of a prototype of trying out these features, trying out this kind of a course, this model, and seeing what the interest is and how it works. So there's that. The other thing, I want this to be very informal, so feel free to stop me and ask questions, about how you did something. Go ahead.
First question is, what learning management system are you guys tying into?
We currently are using Sakai OAE. It's open source. It's an open source project. They may be moving away from that in the future, but I don't know what's going to happen now. I was going to say, so this is open for discussion. It's kind of a case study. It was a really interesting site for me to build. It had some challenges to it, which was great. I think it was an amazing vision by the instructor and the two GSIs that crafted a lot of the vision for how this course would work. So it was fun to try to meet the challenge of making it do what they needed it to do. And the course ran this summer, so what you're seeing is actual content from that was generated by students during the summer course. It is hosted on Pantheon, so we're on the dev site now. It's all been cleaned out now for a fall cohort of students that's going through. So, I don't have a presentation. I'll switch to. So let me go back to it. So the general concept of the course, it's called American Cybercultures. It is in the Department of Art Practice, so it is an art course. It's about, it's exploring principles of internet citizenship through the practice of art. It's a really interesting concept. So the way we wanted to run this course was have students work through these different concepts, and they came up with a list of 23 principles. It's called the 23 Principles, is the subtitle of the course. Work through each one of these concepts, get some concept, get some content, create some artwork demonstrating their understanding of what this is about, their understanding of what it's about, and then engage with their peers to deepen their understanding. Each concept is explored in what's called a mission. So students have to go through these 23 missions in any order. There is a level 1 and a level 2. I'm just going to open these up here. So these are the 23 missions. They're asked to do all of level 1 before they go on to level 2. That's why they're separated out here. And what they do in each mission, let me just go to the identity mission. So each mission involved several steps that the students would go through. So there's an introduction with an introduction to the topic. There are lectures, which you won't be able to see in this version. We use, let me switch so I can show you. We use a service for our videos called Brightcove, and it's limited. There's protection on all the videos that are there, so that it can only be played embedded in certain domains. So it won't play on my website, but it will play here. But I'll just show you what they look like.
Does the university have a general agreement with Brightcove, or is it done on a site-by-site basis?
It's done in a general agreement, but not with the University of California Office of the President. So all the courses that are going through UC Online use Brightcove. And the reason they use Brightcove is for protection for one thing, but also they have this whole workflow out for getting captions done. It's a requirement, all videos have to be captioned. So we upload them to Brightcove, and then we have this caption service that will caption them all, and then it delivers the captions back to these videos. So these are all captioned. And they look like this. Then there's also the protection that they aren't redistributed, because there's the idea that there's copyright material here, stuff that only can be shared with the class. So that's why it's protected that way. So, okay, so there's the lectures for each mission. They get the introduction, they watch the video lectures. There might be, a lot of missions only have one, some missions may have 3, but they're short, 5, the mini lecture, 5 to 20 minutes max. It's pretty common in online learning now to have that. Then there's a number of artwork and reading. So it is an art class. Let me go to a different mission, because this one only has one reading, but in another mission. So within a mission, there may be several works of art that the students are asked to look at, and also readings that they're supposed to do. And then comment on that artwork and readings. And then there's an assignment. So after they do all this, they get to the point where there's an assignment, they can have some pizza and have a seat. There's something they're supposed to do, create a piece of art. This art might be an image. Most often it was an image, but we wanted to leave it open. It could be an image, it could be a video. Here we're supposed to make a stop motion, something. It could be an audio file. It could be a document, because there's just a PDF. So an assignment that was any kind of multiple kinds of media. And then all the student artwork came together in the gallery. And so here are, hopefully there's nobody names in here. I changed the names of all of the students. So this is their actual work, but their full name would show here. So they could see, people could do this. So you go into the artwork, and then there's a description, and you can also comment. So let me just back up a minute. I'm going to show you about how this works as far as content types. So a mission is a content type, but there's very little information in the actual mission content type. Just the introduction, that image on the home page, and then the assignment. The details of the assignment are in there. But then we have all these other things connected to the mission. What the instructors provided a lecture, so these are video content. And then the art and readings, they itemize those separately. And all of those are linked to the mission by a node reference field. And I reuse the same field every time I reference a mission. Almost everything in this site references a mission. So whether it's student work or something the instructor posts or a comment, it references a mission. And I reuse the same field time and time again. So is everyone familiar with node reference kinds of fields? So some of you are not as familiar with Drupal. I'll go into what this looks like. Let me do that now. Go back. So here's my content type for a mission, or not for a mission. A mission's pretty simple. There's not much to a mission, but all right, here's the videos files. This is the lectures that they give. So the mission is a node reference. And when I create that field, I say, what kinds of content are you allowed to reference? And I only allow to reference a mission. And it's required. So every video has to reference a mission. And similarly, the art and readings also reference a mission. And then the way I construct this tab navigation here, where the students are presented with all these, is just through views where I create pages and use the tab menu as I set my menus. So let me show you what that kind of looks like. Let me do this in another window. So this is that first page where it shows the introduction and the image. And you notice my URL is mission and then 1. Okay. 1 happens to be the node ID for that mission. So what I do here in my view is say, get the node ID from the URL, and then show me the image field and the body field from that node. And then make that a page. Make that a page with the menu tab. And that's my parent menu. So that's pretty simple. We do the same thing for the assignment. It just show me a different field on this tab. So I just use views to make break up the content of that mission node onto different pages. The lectures and the art and readings I do a little bit differently. I do, actually it's still in here. No, I think that is here. Videos, yeah. So it's this time I'm looking for content of the type video, not the mission, and I'm not getting the URL, the node ID. Is this the right? Is this making sense, everyone? When I'm talking about content filters and arguments, is that you guys are like, you crazy? Okay. Please stop me if I'm like jumping into a topic that you want to know more about. From the URL, this is the videos page. Grab the URL, which is node 1. Mission 1 happens to be node 1. Not so for the other missions. But use that node ID from the URL and look at the field mission in your videos and show me the videos that have that as the node ID. So that's how we use kind of contextual filters. Arguments, it was previously known as, still called that. And then show me the videos. So that's how it shows the videos. Same thing for artwork and readings. And gallery. But before we get to show the gallery, I'm going to show you the assignment page again. So on the assignment page, here's another interesting thing. Where is the assignment? Okay. So this just shows me the assignment. And then I say, if you'll notice here, there's a link at the bottom of this to upload your assignment now. So that's on every mission, that link there's the bottom to upload your assignment. So that's for students to upload their assignment. And when they click that link, they get to the node add form. So it's adding another piece of content called the artwork. There's instructions. And then if you'll notice down here, the mission was already selected. So in the artwork, I also use the field mission to connect that piece of art to the mission that it belongs in. Because every piece of art has to be associated with a particular mission. So this is also a node reference field. And, but I don't want students to have to pick that and make a mistake and assign it to the wrong place. So I use a module called Node Reference URL Widget. How many are familiar with this module? Very, very handy when you're doing things with node reference URL, with node references. By the way, I use the references module for this course. And I started building a site again recently, and that is no longer the recommended module. There's a new module called Entity References. So check that out if you're using this. So at some point I'll need to switch this over. Entity References is just the same thing, it's just broader. So.
Is this part of the node reference that used to be built into CCK?
It's the same functionality, but it's a whole different module. Yeah, yeah, exactly same concept. So if you look at the content type for artwork, okay, and we look at that, the mission, it's my widget is a reference from a URL, and I'll show you how when you create a new field, if it's a oops sorry. So let's say wait a minute. If I choose a node reference, then I get this as a widget to reference from URL. Let me show you what your options are. This is what you get from that module, node reference URL. What's the field? Yeah, that's pretty much it. There are things that you can add. You can add a link on the node that you're referencing, and it automatically does those kind of things. It's just a really handy module to know. But basically what it's doing is this mission is set because of this one up here, because node 1 is up there. If this said node add assignment 33, which is node 33 is a different mission, it would automatically say, oh, this artwork must be related to the performance mission. And then in my view, I add, so in my fields, I add the assignment, I pull the node ID, because I'm going to need that, but exclude it. Okay, so I know what the node ID is on this, for this assignment that's being shown. And then in my footer, I add text, global text, and this is where I put upload your assignment now, and the link is to node add assignment, and then I put the node ID for the mission. And then that's how that link is generated. So that on this page, this link will update depending on what mission you're looking at the time. So it'll be node add assignment 33 when you're in a different mission. So that makes sense so far? So then they upload the artwork and it just gets shown in the gallery, which is just the same way. Show all the artwork where the mission is identity. So this is where people have names. So let me show you a different gallery. And then there's the gallery. For the artwork, I did use the media module. How many love the media module? How many hate the media module? And both. It can be really funky and hard to work with, and I'm waiting for it to evolve. I don't know if it's going to, it's kind of been on the brink, but the reason I really needed it was to be able to support one field that supported any kind of media, and I don't know anything else in Drupal that can do that. So that they could upload images that will display as images, video that will display as video, audio that will render as audio, and media module lets you do that. So it kind of worked out good that way. I found recently has some definitely major accessibility issues, but it worked. Students were able to use this to upload their media.
Is that what you were using for the instructional videos too?
No. Oh, yes, I was. I'm sorry. Yes, I was. Yeah, so the media module in that one, there is a, I was showing here, but if I add a new, let me see if I add a new video. Select media. Brightcove integrates with the media module, which is another reason it made it handy for me. It really integrates with our learning management system, but I was also able to integrate here. So all the videos that were available in the LMS to pull into content, I was able to pull in here as well. So these are all the videos from all the courses that we have. So I could find the course I needed from Brightcove, select it, and then just insert it on the page.
Can you integrate YouTube into this as well?
Yeah, well, web is, yeah.
Oh,
So you just download, so we use YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud for any audio files, and you could just put the URL of the video on YouTube or Vimeo or wherever, and it'll just render it the way you want it to be rendered. I'll show you where you do that too.
That was my question as well. So you don't have to upload it, you can just embed it from a third-party source.
Exactly. So then what you do with that is, it's very complicated and I struggle with it sometimes. You have, so when you upload, use the media file, you select media, so you select a video, a YouTube video. We go here to manage file display. And so these are the displays that are enabled, a Brightcove video, a Vimeo, or a YouTube video. And Vimeo videos, and so you're familiar with in image cache, how you can have a thumbnail, a medium, a large, and an original. Same thing for your video files. So then you could call them in different views or different ways on the page. So let's say for the preview, I think the preview is what I show on that gallery page. So if it's a Brightcove video, I just want the Brightcove preview, and this is the image style I want. If it's that's probably why they're kind of, they should be large too. So if I choose in the view to say, show me this media field with the preview display, it's going to look like this depending on which kind of media it is. It just figures out what kind of media you have and handles it. And then when I do large, I don't want the preview in the actual video. So I want these 3 videos, and I can set the, so here we have a specific player that we made in Brightcove, and I get the code. It's just some way with Brightcove you have to register that. So I actually had to choose a player, and then the width, same thing with Vimeo and YouTube, so that it always plays the same size, no matter where the source is. That's pretty good, cool that you can do it. It took a little bit of work. There's some other options under YouTube. Yeah. So. And these all come with, so you get the media module, and then you add the media YouTube, and then you add the media Vimeo module, you add the media Brightcove module, so that you can enable all those different sources. Media SoundCloud. So that's the way the module works. So it's pretty good that way. So what else? Let me just jump back to this in a minute. So the reason I show this, so we see how the lectures and the art and the readings are related to the mission, and also the artwork. And the gold is content that students generate, and they're also related to the mission. Okay. Then the students are also asked not only to upload artwork, to complete a mission, they have to upload artwork, but they also have to engage in interaction with their peers. They need to critique the other students' artwork, they need to comment on the videos, they need to comment on the readings, so that they have the ability to comment on any of those objects. And they also, they want to be able to just +1, so they can +1 somebody else's artwork. And not only can you +1 another student's artwork, but you can +1 somebody's comment on that artwork. So the idea here is to encourage students to write decent critiques. If you write something that's kind of lame, like, that really sucks, right? You're not going to get many +1s versus if you do a nice, 3-paragraph critique of this, something that's helpful. And the reason all this is important is because you get points for everything you do. So I use the Userpoints module. How many of you use the Userpoints module? This was my first time using it. I never had any need to before, but if you ever have this need, it's an amazingly well-designed module I found as a user, as a site builder. So with Userpoints module, I can say for this kind of content type, anytime someone creates a piece of that content, they get this many points. And for this particular content type, if somebody comments on that particular piece of content, the person who makes the comment gets this many points, and the person who created the original node, they get points. So what happens is, anytime someone adds a comment to a piece of artwork, the person who made the comment gets points, and the person with that original artwork gets points also. In addition, Userpoints flag module. So I use flag for the +1s. Sorry, someone have a question? I'll show you the flag module. How many are familiar with the flag module? Let me just show you what it looks like. So on, let me go into artwork here. So we have the ability to I already plus this one to start with, but so I can, it's just a toggle. So I +1 the artwork, and I can also retract it. So you can add a flag on a node. So you can decide with the flag module, I created a new flag called +1, and I said +1 can only be done on artwork. And you can do all kinds of parameters around that. And what does it say when they click it, and what does it say when they click it off? So it's a toggle on and off. So not only can you have +1 the artwork, and that is also associated with points. So you get points for giving a +1, and you get points for receiving a +1, and I can say what those points are. You can also +1 comments. So this is a different flag, because I couldn't use the same flag for both node and comments the way flag module works. So I have another type of a flag that only works on comments. So you can +1 comments. And again, this is a different set of points. So the idea here was to encourage students to write good comments. You get more, I think you get like 5 points for a comment. You get 1 point for a +1. So, you get, I think it's even more than that. I mean, more than that for a comment. But the idea was you get more points for a comment. And if you do a particularly well-written comment, you're going to get more +1s on that. You'll keep on generating points ongoing from your well-written comment. So that's the whole kind of game-based thing to it. Does that make sense? Everyone, how it was done?
Can you both +1 and -1 a comment?
You can, yeah. The -1 was something they added at the end. They wanted to try that out. So it's really 2 different flags. So you can do both. They decided, they really spent a lot of time thinking about the -1 and what it meant and what it was going to do. And there was a thought at one point, which I kind of liked, that to -1, if you didn't want a -1 artwork, maybe, but -1 comments, it actually cost you a point. So you can get -1 points for doing so. So it would actually cost you a point to give someone -1, and then that person would lose 1 as well. They were just they decided not to give students the ability to lower someone else's grade. The 2 GSIs that worked a lot on this course with me also had a grant to study the use of badges. And I'll talk about, this is all lead into then how we use badges on the site. But so they really wanted to study to see if people use that, how they used it, and I'm really looking forward to the research study we analyze how students use these. So does anyone want to kind of look at the Userpoints module, how that works? It's really, it's very easy to use. Am I on the right? Okay, so make sure I'm not going into the live site. It's first day of class today, so they're all in there. So you do it in a couple places. In the content type itself, once you add the Userpoints module, so artwork, it's in the edit screen of the artwork content type. You get these 2 extra tabs. So if checked, points will be awarded for creating content of this type, and how many points do they get? it's pretty simple. There's also this, I have this check, so if the student then decides to delete that content, or for some reason it's deleted, it deducts points, which seem to make sense, but my account like perpetually has negative points. I don't know why. I keep creating content and then deleting it, and I'm all negative, but anyway. And then points for comments as well. So it checks points, you get comments. There is also, you can categorize points. So this became important because we thought about, well, what if they game the system? Maybe they don't create any artwork and they just put a whole bunch of comments or a whole bunch of +1s and get the points they need for badges. So I'll talk about badges in a little bit. So we decided to do it differently and require a minimum number of points in 2 categories. One is creative. So what happens when you create artwork, you get 10 points in the creative content, in the creative category. And so for the badge, we require you have 10 points in the creative category, and that's the only way you can get points in the creative category is to submit artwork. Doesn't say about how good your artwork is, that's a different story, but it's, you get it for uploading something. And comments then are analytical. And then there's also, and +1s are all analytical. There's another, flags, no, it's on the flags. It's also in the point settings for points. You can change the name when they expire, all kinds of different things you can do with it. And that's default. Oh, points for flags down here. So if someone +1s, this is +1ing for nodes for artwork. So the person who does the flag gets a point. The author of whatever they flag gets 3 points. That's kind of the way that works. And then what category? So when we look at flags, most of you raise your hand kind of with flags. I can show you that real quick. It's pretty, it's got a lot of possibilities. You can use it in many different ways. We have so the +1 flag, so I have lots of different flags on here. There's all kinds of options. What's it called? It's just for me. What does it show on what's the text that shows on the screen for the user? And then it's all, and who can do it? And then it's all what content is allowed to be flagged with this particular flag. So it's only artwork that can be flagged. Where you display the link on that page, so that's where I want you to display it. And then this is all exposed in views, so you can make a view of flagged content. Flagged content for all users or flagged content for this particular user who's logged in, the current user, so that there's lots of possibilities to use a flag. Okay. So let's talk about badges a little bit. So the ultimate goal, when they're doing all this work, is to earn badges. They need to earn the first level badge in each mission. That's the bulk of their grade is earning the badges. So to get 100%, you have to get the first level badge in all of these. So for each mission, there's 2 badges. I say the first level. There's they're all called citizen or innovator, and it's just the number of analytical points. They all require the 10 creative points, which you get for uploading artwork, and then the analytical points, which you do in comments and +1s. And then the innovator is if you keep on going and doing more comments and more +1s, you get like a second level badge. And the idea is that it's motivating for students to earn these badges. They show on their profile page when you earn badges. These are the badges I've earned. I don't know why, but I've earned these badges. And they show there's also an activity stream where you can see all these badges being earned. So that's the inherent motivations to get the badges. Of course, they also need grades, so there's another motivation. But so keep in mind with your artwork and then your analytical comments, you have a lot of control over this, over getting badges and what you need to do, and also your students are more your raters. So your artwork, notice at no point does the instructor grade your artwork. They don't grade your artwork and they don't grade your comments. You get graded based on other students liking your comments and liking and commenting on all your artwork. So that's the whole basis of the way this course is run. So the way this works is each of these badges is a node. Badge is a mission badge is a content type where I've specified what mission does this badge relate to. We had a designer come up with these badges. and how many creative points are required and how many analytical points are required. And let me show you. So that's where it became important back here to always use the same field and reuse that field. So let me show you the structure though for the badges. So, oh, this works best if it's animated. Let me try it. There we go. So we have lots of badges over here. And the badge is pretty simple. How many points are required in the image for the badge and what mission does it belong to? And then we have all these users over here. So we need to create a middle. This would be considered a many-to-many relationship. Okay, so every user, each user can have multiple badges and each badge can have multiple users. As opposed to this one where every art and reading only has one mission. Each node only belongs to one mission. But this one's different. So we created a connector kind of content type, which is the badge award. So basically, one badge through this content type can be awarded to multiple users. So it's just a node that says what mission is this for? Well, it says what badge, which by virtue connects to the mission, and what's the user and when did they get it. So we can award badges just by creating a new node of the badge award type, and pick the user, pick the badge, set the date, and be done. And the other, whoops. And then the other way around, one user can have multiple badges, so that's the way that works. The part that we did, that I said this was 99% done with just site building using standard modules. I'm not a module developer, so we got this far without any custom module development, but we did have to contract with someone to write the part that automatically awarded the badges. So based on looking at this, the points, all of these things generate points. So all the points had to be associated with the mission because they all had this field mission, so that made that relatively easy to look up and see what mission that point belongs to, and then count up the points, and when the points met this specification, award the badge. That was the custom part.
You consider doing that with rules?
I tried. It still would be custom work. I'd suggested that as a way, but you can't. I couldn't find a way to create a node with rules. I didn't see that, which is what I needed. There were a couple other limitations, things that I just couldn't make it work in rules. Yeah, I tried. I do use rules quite a bit though for notifications and changing roles. So what I do is after they completed these missions, they get a different role that gives them access to these missions. They also get an email notification every time they're awarded a badge, that kind of thing. So once you have those badge awards made, then it's pretty easy to do a view like this. So again, it would have shown their full name and their role course. Who was awarded this badge. And that was kind of important because they also hoped, the instructors also hoped to inspire some kind of mentorship. So if someone's struggling in a particular mission, whoops, not here, mission badges. If someone's struggling in a mission, they might like energy. Let me see who earned the innovator badge, who's kind of got the advanced level here, and again, can reach out to them for help. Because there's also a live synchronous part of this course. Twice a week they met in discussion groups online, so they can kind of seek out help. So this view, the way this is done is using EVA. Does everyone know EVA? The Entity Views Attachment, which is called EVA for, isn't that the robot on, what was that one? Wally, yes, that was Wally's girlfriend. But I love the EVA module. There's different ways to do this in Drupal 6. It's a Drupal 7 only module. It works really well. So basically, in your view, instead of creating a block or a page or something else, you create an entity view attachment. And this module was recently updated. I just started a new site that got the updated version and calls it an entity field. But basically, create this view, and what I have here is a view of badge awardees, and show me who got it and the date they got it, and here's all the filter. I have the my argument, the contextual filter. What badge are you looking at right now? What page are you looking at, which is the badge awarded? And then I say, so when you do add, you can do an attachment block. My theme's off here a little bit. You can do a block or a page, but I say add an entity content. And then I get this little configuration block, and I say, all right, what kind of entity do we want to attach this view to? And I want to attach it to a node. And I never heard the word bundles, but it's what kind of nodes are they? with the content type. So I'm saying attach this view to every mission badge. Attach this view and use that badge as the argument for the contextual filter. So once I create this view and save it, then when you go to that content type that I attached it to, which was the mission badge, let me look at that real quick. So the mission badge. When you go to, it's not in the manage fields, but when you go to manage display, that view shows up as a field now on my content type display. So I can move that around and decide to just show this view as a field whenever you view that node, if there's any results. So it comes in very handy. So that I just have this badge awardee showing up as on the badge node page. As a field, and then I just styled it that way. Any questions about that? Let's see if there's anything else I was going to talk about. Feel free to jump in with questions. Well, other interesting things I tried, so on the profile page became really important then, because they want to be able to look at a student and know what a student's accomplished at a glance. So we have a view that shows their mission badges. I have a view that shows, there's another type of badge that is, it's structured pretty much the same way, but students can create a badge. So they can create a badge called, here's some of the badges they created. Most of it was the instructors. The students didn't really get into this because there's no points associated with this. It's just for fun. They created a robot. Created a dancing robot badge. This was a student created this one. And then once they create a badge, they can just award it to people the same way. So if you look at that badge, this awards someone this badge. By the way, uses the entity. The reference URL widget. So when you award someone this badge, again, it's creating a new piece of content. Community badge award, but the badge awarded field is already populated based on this this 448, the node ID and the URL. So what was I looking at? Oh, the profile.
You use entity views attachments for each of those 3 columns there?
For these, no, and I could have done it that way, but I ended up doing it. I ended up doing it a different way, and the reason is, I'll show you. They want to be able to show activity in a kind of an activity stream kind of way, so I use the heartbeat module that does this kind of a thing. So as stuff is going on, it's pretty cool. You can customize what this says, the way it's formatted for each kind of an action. So if you update your account page, if you add, like that should be fixed. But what they commented on. So with this module, I had to use something called Display Suite. How many people have used Display Suite? No one. I had not used it before, but it made like formatting of this activity stream really easy. So I thought I'd try that. So that's what I ended up using for this, for the user profile page. So I'll show what that looks like.
I was installing and exploring it last night, so I'm very curious to hear what it did for you.
Yeah, well, let me do this, and I might use it again more. I need to learn more about how it works, but it made it pretty simple to do this. So in my account settings, so when you go to the display suite, so I have this left, right, middle, right footer regions, and these regions that were added to my user profile display. So it added that, and I could do that because I do, it came with all these different layouts, template layouts. Of course, you can make your own then. So I said, all right, let me use the 3-column stacked. And then all of a sudden, I came back with all my fields on here and these 3 regions. So that's how I have it showing the 3 regions. But in addition to that, I can add, and this is bad. I might be remembering this wrong, but I'm pretty sure this came with Display Suite, is I could add custom fields. So I made a view. Let me see a second. I'm pretty sure I made a block. And I said add a block field. And take, well, I'm not going to try to recreate it now because I remember exactly the steps I did. But I created these fields, using this add custom fields, I created these fields, which are really views. So, so anyway, that was
And what's the module again?
display suite.
Display suite.
So the things that Display Suite throws at you look a lot like panels.
It does.
And so I was getting confused because I have panels and Display Suite. And so I don't know when I'm looking through it what, so.
That would be confusing to try to. I don't use panels at all anymore. I've completely moved away from panels myself. Actually, I've used context a lot lately. I like using context to show what shows where on what pages and how to construct the pages. But this was another interesting approach. Like, this was the first time I used that. Yeah, panels just throws everything, a wrench in everything for me. I try to do something different. But I know there's a lot of panels experts probably in the room who might prefer panels.
So does Display Suite overlap with panels functionality?
I don't think they're related at all. How would they relate together? I don't know. I have no idea.
I think you can accomplish some of the same things with each. That's what I was wondering.
And what if you tried to use them together? Would that would be?
I have no experience with Display Suite, but
Yeah.
I would be afraid to use both together.
Yeah, Display Suite's interesting. The people who like it love it, and they just read through the forums and they really push it. Like the heartbeat guys that developed the heartbeat module, the activity thing, which is kind of like worked out of the box. It was good. People were asking things in the queue like, how do you manage the display view like this? Like, why would you do anything other than Display Suite? I mean, just use Display Suite and call it a day. It does everything. So anyway, I'm not completely sold on it, but it let me do this pretty easily.
How did you find using Heartbeat?
What it does out of the box was really good. I am having problems with this menu. If anyone knows why it does this, do you see this? Okay. What is Heartbeat? What's doing the menu? That's a good question. I think it's I think it's the HTML menu. I'm not sure. If you guys want, I can look it up and answer questions.
I had that problem a few months ago. I think I just had to update the module or something.
It's a different module. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. It's only on certain pages. Somehow there's some I don't know, JavaScript on the page I'm looking at that doesn't let that work. And if I just go to another page, then it's fine. So, and it seems to be only admin pages, so I'm thinking maybe I'm the only one that gets the pleasure of that. But what was I? Oh, you asked about Heartbeat. Yeah. What I found hard, and if I was more of a coder, this would be easier, is I wanted to do. There's instructions for doing it. The documentation is a little weak, so I couldn't really figure out how to do it. But so, for example, when someone added, okay, so here is artwork that she uploaded. Supposedly, it's very flexible, and I could create a template so that when somebody uploads artwork, I use a different template that actually shows a thumbnail of artwork, which would be, lovely. And I would like to do that. So I just couldn't figure it out, and I couldn't figure it out because I'm not a coder. So I think that, but this is what it does out of the box, which is really very cool. It's given exactly what they needed because the instructors need to keep on top of things, and also students need to see, because what happens is they start a mission, so let's say they upload their artwork, but there's no one else's artwork in there, so they don't have enough other things that they can actually do comments and +1 on, so they can't ever finish that mission until other people work on that mission, because you do it in any order. So this let them tell when somebody else is working on a mission. So if they're looking for other people to upload to mission 4, they can find out what someone has through here.
So, is it an alert type thing? Or
No, it's just a stream. It's just a feed. This was the home page for a while of the course, so they could see what recent activity. So anytime you can decide what actions make it to Heartbeat. Okay. And it just appears on there like a Facebook feed, like an activity. It's an activity stream.
I'm trying to figure out what the minimum I can do to get emails out for postings, comments on comments, whatever. There seems to be some alternatives. Does anybody have a?
I mean, I use rules. I like rules the best. It's just you can really highly configured, to do exactly what you need and send it to who you need to.
Do you need any more than simple emails?
No,
Yeah, rules.
okay.
I'll show you what some of those look like. So here's the rule, and here's, sorry, here's Heartbeat adds usage rules as well. So you know as much as I can. So when a new note is published, it logs that activity. So this is the rule behind that, so I can go in here and modify that.
Did you have to create those, or did Heartbeat provide
Heartbeat
those?
provided them, but you can add additional ones. I don't think I added. Oh, I didn't add any, but so for example, this is related to the flag, but it did it when I set something in Heartbeat to follow this also, and it just creates this rule. So it's really. So when a badge is awarded, so I made a rule. So it's pretty simple when new content is created, and your conditions are when that content is a badge award. Remember, that's my connector content type when someone's awarded a badge, and the user's not blocked. I added this later because it doesn't matter. Anyway, former students, yeah. We had this issue about what do you do with the former students' accounts in artwork when you need to clear it off for a new group of students. So what I did is I blocked all the old students, so this is what I'm saying, just so they don't accidentally get a notification that they got a badge after the course they're not in it anymore. So that's it. But with rules, it's nice. You can just throw that rule in there, and now there's no unintentional emails. So the node type, so there's something a little interesting there. So the node is the badge award, but I need to get who is the awardee. So I had to add a variable, which was pretty easy. So the the newer rules has this kind of selector thing, so we can say and so the variable I'm looking for is user, and then when you come in here to this data selector, it kind of gives you a drop down. You can kind of walk through what are you trying to get. Well, the node is a badge award. I want to know the badge awardee, and I don't need all that. I just need the badge awardee, and then you have it. And then
So for understanding, for people who have not used this interface before, it's really overwhelming at first, but it gets better really quickly.
there's a way to switch, and I was switching it a lot at first, and then I found, once you get used to it, it's pretty cool because it only lets you pick what you're allowed to pick, and I wanted to pick stuff I was not to pick, stuff I didn't like it, but it's good, so it's saving me. But it's really good. So then I loaded a variable that bring up the user who was just awarded the badge, and then I could easily send an email and say, who does it go to? Well, now I have that as because I pulled up that user, I've got, the awardee is now, all the tokens that are associated with that awardee is now available for me to pick, and I could say, put their email address in there, and you put all these tokens in there, and you instruct your email. So that's basically how it works. Yeah, rules is really a good friend to have.
Switch a tape?
Yes. The instructors develop content, then review policies, so actually site building, they did a lot of analysis on how it works.
Just a really basic question, your pages with the tabs for the different views, is that just the tabs module, or I've never done that, but
yeah,
there was one.
and every time I do that, I have to refresh my memory how that works, because it's a little tricky to get started. It's just in a view. So what happens is you have to make your default page first, because there always has to be a default page when you have tabs. I don't quite understand this part, because I had to have this base path, so mission, and then the variable for the node ID, and then I also have to make my first tab, which is the intro page. These are kind of one and the same. I'm not sure, but here's where I make. So I just add a menu item. There's no extra modules come. It's in views.
Oh, it's in views.
It's in views. So you notice when you add a menu item in views, you can make it a normal menu entry, or you can make it a default menu tab. So there's the title of the tab and the description. And then, so this one is my default menu tab. And then any subsequent pages, like the videos, I create that page. You have to set the path the same. Okay, so the paths have to work too. So you have to have your path and then your node ID and then your stuff that follows. So this was mission, node ID, lectures. And then I just added another menu, and this can just be menu, right, a menu tab. And then it knows to put that lectures tab with the other one that matches in the path. Takes a little trial and error to figure out how that works. But you can do the same, so I do the same thing on here. So you know on the, here's your profile page. So I also made another page. And here I don't have a default tab, because the default tab is profile. That comes with, user module, the core. But all I did was, you look at the path, it's users, and then the username. And, oh, actually, it's so it ends up being user. So all I did was created a page and made it a menu tab, and I just made sure I followed that pattern for my path. So all of these follow the same pattern.
So the key is just the beginning of the path needs to be the same for each tab, and then you need exactly one default menu tab, and the rest are just normal menu tabs.
Exactly. So in the case of the missions, I created that default menu tab, but in the case of the profile, I was able to tack it on to something that already existed. But there was something I couldn't do. I can't remember exactly what it was. So I did install another module called Tab Tamer. You know what I'm going to talk about? I don't even know what that did. Ooh. Oops. Tab Tamer. I can't remember now why I installed this module. But it lets you do, I think there were some modules that, I know what it was. Does anyone ever use signups? The sign up module, which is, I love it and hate it. And so we needed it because they needed to sign up for their study section, so we needed it. But there was always this annoying signups tab, and there was something else a tab that I couldn't get to go away because some module made it show, and I didn't want it to show. And so Tab Tamer will take existing tabs like review, edit, revisions. These no tabs. So these are no tabs. There's also the user tabs. And you can change the order, and you can change the type of different things with it. So it let me do something that I couldn't handle through use. Forget exactly what I needed that for. But you don't need to create those tab pages.
Michelle, did you ever do anything special with user management for this class? I mean, did you put them in any groups, or you extended the profile out with extra information, or is it just a standard profile?
It's just a standard with the user entity, and I just added a field. We added a field. We just added an About Me field, and I think a Google Plus profile field, because they would end up using Google Hangouts a lot, so they needed to be able to share. So I didn't add anything much to user profile.
And as far as management, were they pre-registered sort of in there, and it's CAS authenticated, or was it?
Yeah, so I used the it's CAS authenticated. So I used the UCD CAS module that Brian Wood developed. The way I set this up is users are blocked when they create an account. So anybody with CAS, so I couldn't control anybody from CAS, just logging in and creating an account. But I didn't want them to see anything. So that was a little tricky. So because I didn't want them to see any content whatsoever if you weren't logged in. And even if you log in with CalNet and you're blocked, you still can't see anything. So that took a little work to make sure that nothing was seen beforehand. And then, so they're all blocked, and then what happens, the instructors will go through and make active students who are actually registered. So they actually manually have to look at the roster and approve accounts. But this keeps unlimited people out.
Yes.
And then I created a role for observer because they wanted other people to come in, but they didn't want to listen to students.
Okay.
And then I have one more role, a level 2 student, I think, because they wanted to be able to restrict their ability to see level 2 missions until they complete level 1 missions.
Oh, good.
So that's the only. So students just have 1 of 2 roles. Either the authenticated user that's active is a student. And then for instructors, oops, oh no, I don't have any power. I didn't need to log in that way. Anyway, so now I'm nobody. I think oh, I thought I was an instructor here, I guess I'm just a student.
I missed it, if you said it when I first got in. Is this 6 or 7?
7. And it's hosted on Pantheon.
I was wondering if there were, or how the badges translated into actual grades for the course, and if there were any further issues for displaying the badges between students publicly in the course.
There, and yeah, you put the syllabus here, and they went back and forth with this, so I'm ignore Brian's warning. There's a portion of their grade that is, I have to look at the syllabus to see how they end up doing it. They spend a lot of time figuring that out, but they decided to, there's a big portion of their grade that's based on badges. That if they just get the 23 first level badges, they get full credit for those points. Because that means that they engage with their peers, that means they submitted all their artwork. And then they reserve some of the grade for some subjective instructor, critique, like did they show up, were they really engaged, what level of comments did they give? So they did reserve, I'm not sure, I think they might have changed it for this semester because it was their first time trying this. So.
And then displaying those badges, grading information between students wasn't a...
No, it was really a part of the whole, and I can't show it here because there's no one student. Yeah, that's part of the deal is that they, Devin, oh, you know what, you shouldn't be a student yet, you should be, but anyway.
I'm getting an F, so it's okay.
You see my engagement. Yeah, no, it was a big deal that they share their accomplishments and other students know who did what, and that was a big part of this community environment, another reason why it needed to be closed down. Can you see things? You should be able to see it.
I've logged in on my phone, so I did.
Okay, anyway. This was another interesting thing, the engagement index. That is actually the user points total. So all the points that they get across all the things, they really want to have in this term engagement index. So that's how much they engage. So originally this showed all the students on here. And then they were sorted in order of the highest engagement index, which they thought was pretty cool, be motivating to try to get up in the top. But then there was a couple students who were really lagging behind. They decided to change that and not put it in order of the best students and the worst. I think that has some implications. But yeah, there was an interesting question about how much of the students' grades, because that kind of translated to their grades, not directly.
How did you handle SSL part? I see that you can sign in via SSL.
No SSL
system is, and then now it's not encrypted anymore. So
it's not encrypted. It's not. There's no SSL. It just uses CAS for login.
But okay, so I don't know if I'm understanding how this works, but I saw you're using Telnet.
Yes.
Is that not an encrypted transaction?
So where is Caroline with that? So
it's basically Drupal hands it off to CAS, and that part is encrypted. Then it's handed back, and then after that, it does not have to. I'm not sure how the mechanics work.
It's a secure process. Basically, CAS talks to Drupal and vice versa to make sure that it's not being spoofed into thinking somebody's logging in.
Is there a specific CAS module for making that happen?
Yeah, UCB CAS.
Sorry, say again?
UCB CAS.
Thank you.
It combines, there's a couple of third-party models, CAS and LDAP modules, and the UCB CAS module combines those two inputs and does some presets to set up the environments that you'll be authenticating with. Like on a test site, you authenticate against the test CalNet server, and on a live site, you authenticate against the live one.
So in this module, I set up, this is the dev site, so it goes to auth-test, but I actually have to register the site with them before it'll allow that to happen. And as long as you only log in with CalNet, you don't need the SSL.
What did you use to hand off role management to the instructors?
The user module. They go right to the, so I have an instructor menu. No, they actually do this. No, they don't go there. But no, they go right to the, this page and add roles or unlock people. You should not be active. Anyway.
You're gonna try to partition you then,
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't. I mean, I thought about that, but they're really savvy instructors that were working on this. They do have their own menu where I have them, controlled to lots of different things that they would be able to access and do. But they were fine doing this. But they realized they could make themselves administrators, and I don't know how scary that was. They came back to instructors.
So what process will you use to extend this to other programs? What kind of architecture will you use? Will it be the same site? Will you replicate the site?
Other programs? Yeah, that's a good question. Because I haven't been asked to do that yet, so I haven't. But next week, or actually this week, we have a meeting where we're kind of sharing our courses with other IDs who might want to use this. It's a lot of overhead to run a Drupal site for a course outside of the LMS. So I mean, it all costs. They want to try to build everything in the LMS so that it's maintainable. But where you have a site like this, it's an option. I don't know. I might just package them as features, the individual features as features. Might be the most maintainable way to do that. I'm open to suggestions on that. I haven't had a need yet, so I don't know how to do it. I figure there's just maintenance each semester. I need to, I update everything. I block all the old users and make room for new content.
So you'll be keeping, as this course goes forward over the semesters, you'll still be keeping all the old,
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I would prefer to believe, they're doing their research study, so they needed access to all the old content.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't quite ready to say I could delete it yet. So I just unpublished everything and blocked the users. So, but I think by the end of this semester, I would really like to just be able to delete, really get a real fresh site that is good.
And is there any push to keep it archived for the students? Like, are they going to come back to it? I mean, eventually their calendar IDs will expire, but some of the sites, other online learning sites might want to sort of have an archive of their course as it happened. And I'm wondering if you guys have thought about how that would work.
No, it's an interesting question. It's being, asked right now at UCOP, what is the policy? We don't really have a policy for access to courses. Like, I've taken some UC extension courses, and I am informed well in advance that once this date passes, I will not have access to anything at course. So anything I want out of there, I need to save it. So there are places that handle it that way. And that's how we've chosen to handle this, because there's student privacy. We don't want them lurking on a new class of students. And then online it's a little different because, the new students don't know these other students are watching them. So it's a good question. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think more often we get requests from our instructors to resurrect old course content for reuse.
Right.
So I think that's a pretty frequent request.
They did say too they would need to be able to access it in case a student contests their grade. So there's that. So what I've done for now temporarily until I resolve this, so I unpublished everything on the public site. Those familiar with Pantheon, I have a dev, a test, and a production server. Test right now has a preserved copy of the end of summer session. So they can always go to that and pull up anything. I really just want to make like a static HTML exporting the entire site and just hand them a zip file is what I'd like to do. I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
That's a great idea.
I think then they can do whatever they want with it. But the students, in this case, the students would not have access to it, so only the instructors. Anyone else have any Drupal-related announcements or things going on you want to share? Anyone have ideas for topics for next month? Pass on to Brian, who's in charge of that one.
When's back camp? Back camp's coming up, right? We should probably.
Oh, Bad Camp? Oh, good point. Bad Camp is here, November
4th, 5th, something like that.
something like that. How many have been to Bad Camp before? Oh, okay, good. So good. How many never heard of Bad Camp? Okay, so yeah, November first through fourth, though the first and second, I think, is a Thursday, Friday, that'll be
Mhm. Trainings and
summits.
stuff, summits and
They have an
trainings, yeah.
education summit, and third and fourth will be here. So register. Submit your proposals. Are they accepting proposal yet? I don't think so. No, I haven't seen the proposals yet. So. All right, I guess we're done. Thank you.